Tips for phacoemulsification and dye-enhanced cataract surgery. Capsular staining is helpful in eyes containing mature cataracts and in eyes with a poor red reflex. Surgeons have long used dyes like indocyanine green, fluorescent, and trypin blue to stain the interior capsule to facilitate the surgical procedure. Studies show that trypin blues provides comparatively more intensive staining. Trypin blue staining affects the biomechanical properties of the human lens capsule and leads to a significant reduction in elasticity and an increase in stiffness. Part 1. Interior capsule staining for capsular hexis in advanced mature white cataracts. The 4 techniques for capsule staining are 1. Beneath air, 2. Beneath ophthalmic surgical devices, 3. Beneath OVD and BSS, and 4. Mixing with an OVD. Advantages of capsule staining under an air bubble include the creation of a dye lake over the lens capsule, also lack of contact with corneal endothelium, and it is more cheap. However, some disadvantages include that it is difficult to reform the anterior chamber with a single air bubble. Any instrument entering the eye will cause a small amount of air to escape, raising the iris lens plane. It is more difficult to maintain interior chamber depth. Dye is more likely to leak out of the anterior chamber. Here we showed a simple modified method to improve the condition of the anterior chamber instability. The dye and the air are in the same syringe. Inject the air bubble first and follow with the dye all in one maneuver. The dye is injected onto and spread over the anterior lens capsule under an air bubble. Then the air bubble is replaced with viscoelastic. An intumescent white cataract is where the cortex has become opaque and liquefied, which increases the pressure within the capsular bag. When we try to perform a traditional capsular hexis in these cases, this pressure gradient can push the nucleus up against the back of the anterior capsule, resulting in an irregular tear-out, also called the Argentinian flag sign. Different techniques prevent the Argentinian flag sign. 1. The double capsular hexis technique. 2. Use a femtosecond laser-assist capsulotomy. 3. The phaco-probe capsular hexis technique. The double capsular hexis technique. Via a paracentesis, an initial small central capsular hexis is made. The capsular bag is decompressed, and then following an aspiration of liquefied cortex to decrease intralenticular pressure. And then, the main incision is created and a centered optimal size capsular hexis is performed. Use a femtosecond laser-assist capsulotomy. Be aware that this can sometimes lead to an incomplete capsulotomy, and a circumferential completion of capsulotomy with release of adhesions using microcapsular hexis forceps. The phaco probe can be used to punch a hole in the center of the capsular bag in order to aspirate the liquefied lens cortex and release the pressure gradient. Part 2. Lens decompression technique in intumescent white cataracts. The needle decompression method. After injecting viscoelastic, a 27-gauge needle is introduced into the anterior chamber through the main incision, with the bevel down facing the anterior capsule. The needle inserts into the lens center. The liquid cortex is aspirated by pulling back on the syringe plunger about 0.1 or 0.2 milliliters of liquefied cortex, which will decompress the capsular bag and release the pressure gradient. This helps mitigate risk of the Argentinian flag sign. Re-inject viscoelastic. The capsular hexis is completed with a capsule forceps. In conclusion, staining the anterior capsule is a safe, more available, and simple procedure when poor red reflex is a concern during phacoemulsification. Tryptin blue is an effective stain that is useful in many other instances beyond routine staining of the anterior capsule during cataract surgery. Applying the syringe needle decompression method in intumescent white cataracts is a safe, simple, and effective method, which is easy to master and apply for junior surgeons. Thank you for watching.